Good morning students. Welcome to online teaching session of Academic World School Bemetra. Today we are going to discuss the chapter What is democracy? Why democracy? This is my second lecture. So in this lecture we are going to cover following three subtopics of the what is democracy and why democracy. Moving to the first subtopic, that is features of democracy, we will discuss arguments against democracy and arguments in favor of democracy. In first lecture, we have already covered the different forms of government and the concept of democracy in details. So, students, let's start the next subtopic, that is features of democracy. In last video, we had already seen lot of merits of the democracy during understanding the concept of democracy. So now, in the features of democracy, we are going to cover the following four topics. Major decisions are taken by elected leaders, free and fair electoral competition, and one person, one vote and one value, and at last, rule of law. Let's see the first topic. What does it mean? Major decisions taken by the elected leaders. In first video we had discussed in most of governments today wants to be called a democratic governments. So they pretend they are ruling as a democracy. They pretend they hold elections and they try to do so many things by which they can prove that their rule of system is according to democracy. So today we will cross check on the following features whether these countries are really democratic or just they are pretending to be a democracy. Now see, major decisions are taken by elected leaders. Just take the example of our country. In India, as it is the time of lockdown, so who is taking the major decisions? Who announced the lockdown in our country? Then we find that the MPs and the Prime Minister, head of the cabinets, mostly take all the major decisions related to country. And in state level we find the Chief Ministers and the cabinet takes the major decision about the states. So in our chapter there is a case study of Pakistan given, in which Pervez Musharraf led a military coup to take over the power of the democratically elected governments. There is a term coup. This is the spelling of this is C-O-U-P, but U and P is the silent and it is simply pronounced as coup. And this coup means it is the overthrow of the government by using violence or in illegal ways. So in this case study you will find the Pervez Musharraf was the leader, Pervez Musharraf. Pervez Musharraf. After some time, he held a referendum to extend his rule. And this referendum is a kind of direct voting system in which the people have to accept or reject. So he held a referendum, but the political activists and the opposition of the Pakistan and the media of the Pakistan said about this referendum it was full of the malpractices and based on the fraud. So it is very simple to understand that all the major decisions were taken in the Pakistan by the Pervez Musharraf, who was not a elected leader. He was from military background. So it's very simple to understand that in this way he just pretends that Pakistan was a democracy. But in real sense, Pakistan was not practicing the true democracy. Moving to the second feature of democracy, that is free and fair electoral competition. Electoral is always related to elections activity. Election activity. Elections activity. So free and fair election competition is a necessary condition for a democratic country. As I said, every country wants to be called as a democratic government. So they also hold elections. But the authenticity and the fairness of election is always a big question. Like China also hold elections, but can we say that China is a democratic country? This is so free and fair election is very necessary condition for any country to become a democratic country. Because this free and fair elections ensures that every person has opportunity to stand in elections and win the election according to the will of people, whether they are rich or poor, they are educated or not, it does not matter. So, free and fair election competitions provides everyone opportunity to become a leader in any democratic country and they can raise their position. This is the meaning of free and fair electoral competition, where everybody has chance. And we know in our country that's because of this reason there is no educational qualification is required to become even a prime minister or chief minister or any other political leaders. So this is reason behind. So everybody had chance to participate in. If there would be some restriction because of the education, then most of Indian people would not be able to participate in election. Then how can they take part in the ruling system? Our next feature is one person, one vote and one value. This is the most important features of any democratic country, because this is only who ensures that there is a complete participation, means everybody has the participation in the democracy. Because one person, one vote, one value simple means whether the person is at any position, whether it is the vote of prime minister or the vote of a general people, it is a vote of a rich person or a very poor person, it does not matter. Each vote has a same value. This same value make the country true democracy. Just let us see in our country, there is one person, one vote and one value, and the universal adult franchise is adopted. According to this, after the age of 18 or above, every person, whether they are male, female, educated, illiterate, rich or poor, it does not matter. Everybody has one vote and each vote has the same value. So we can say India in this feature also stands perfect for as a democratic country. This also ensures the political equality. Political equality. There is in the economic sphere and in other, there may be some inequality we see. But politically we can say in India, everybody have the equal chance to elect the leaders or to reject the leaders same time. Fine. So our next feature of democracy is rule of law. Rule of law. Everybody expects the rule of law. Rule of law simple means in the eyes of law nobody is rich or poor, or they are in any powerful position, or they have no power. It does not mean. In the eyes of law, everybody is the same, everybody is the equal. So, rule of law is there. If in any country, then we can say that that country is the democratic country. Because if there is no rule of law for the different people, there is different rule which differentiate one person to another, then it would be very difficult to reduce the conflict and the differences, and it would be difficult to manage the democracy. So, I hope till here I made clear everything for you, right? So all these 4 features we had just discussed, these are the minimum conditions for any country to be called a democratic country. Let's move to the next topic, that is argument against democracy. And hand to hand we will see the arguments in favor of democracy. Because in the concept of democracy we have gone in very detail and we have enough understanding how we can differentiate this democratic form of government to the other non-democratic form of governments. But still, let's see what is there. Number 1, argument against democracy. In this argument against democracy, it is sometimes alleged that if it leads to the political instability. What does this mean? It leads to political instability. How does this lead? Political instability means here, in any democratic country, in modern world, there is a representative form of government. In representative form of government, election is mandatory, right? If the election is mandatory, the second condition is these elections take place after a certain interval. It may be after 5 years, after 6 years, it may be a little bit change country to country. But like in our country, there is election in most of political institutions after 5 years. In these 5 years, what happens? The government's changed. And when the government is changed, the new people become the member of government, of the cabinet or minister, prime minister. And this change, this keep changing of the leaders, as earlier before there was Congress government, now there is the BJP governments. So the leaders, ministers have been changed. This changing create instability. This changing of the leaders, changing of the governments. This is the arguments against democracy. Many people says that this create instability in the country. Let us see the second. It's all about political competition, means there is a lot of, in many political parties are exist in country. There is a multi-party system in our country. Because of this multi-party system, there are many political parties. And these parties have different ideology. And they have the different kind of solutions of the same problems. So because of this, every political party, due to this competition, want to win the race. And for winning the race, they sometimes choose the way of unfairness. During elections, we listen. The peoples are offered with the money or some other kind of gifts. So, when this would happen in any democratic election, then we can understand where is the scope of morality. There is no morality then. Everybody will anyhow trying to win the election, whether in fair way or unfair way, and to form the governments. Because of this unhealthy competition is also sometimes categorized in the against democracy. Let's move the next one. This democracy leads to the delay in any decision making. See, this is against the democracy. This democratic form of governments cannot take any quick decisions. As we know, there is this kind of government is work on the consultation and discussions, and these things take times. Because these things take times, so it's obvious that it will take time and it would delay, because the process we know how any decision is taken in democratic form of governments. No individual can take any decision. Please remember, no individual have power to take any decisions. So, the normal procedure for any rules is what? In normal procedure for ordinary bills, even the bill is first discussed in the Lok Sabha, Raj Sabha, then it is sent to the Raj Sabha, then it is discussed in the Raj Sabha, right? Then it is sent to the consent for President, and if finally President does not give his or her consent, there is no use of that bill. So, sometimes it is also blamed that democracy is very time-taking process, because of which many times good opportunities can be missed. Next, this against democracy, next top point is it leads to corruption. It leads to corruption. As we have discussed in above points, there is no scope for morality. There is all about competitions. Political parties ready to compromise with their principles to form the government. Many times we see many examples how these leaders change their words time to time. All these things leads to corruption. And at the time of election we observe and we listen in the news channels, we read in the newspapers, lot of unfair activities. Why these unfair activities? Just only one reason, because they want to get power. And because of this thinking, there is full corruptions, chances of full corruptions, because they spend a lot of money in these elections in hope of that once they win the election, they will manage. And it happens in some extent. Fine? So dear students, till here leads to corruption. We have understood that these are the demerits. On the ground of this topic, it is said that this democratic form of government is not good. Next is the ordinary people do not know what is good for them. In feature of democracy, we had just discussed there is rule for political equality. One person, one vote, one value. What does this tell? This tells about the political equality. But in reality, can we say every everybody has the same IQ to take decision on any matter? If it is not so, then why in case of politics, in case of ruling, everybody has given the political equality? When everybody cannot think equally, then why everybody has been given? This is the reason many countries in even earlier time, all people have not right to vote. Because what happens, like ordinary people or illiterate people, those who are very simple in nature, they are not diplomatic. They do not understand these false promises of the prominent leader. They feel they are in very important position. They are not going to promise something what they cannot fulfill. But this is a very common trend. Our political leader, make promises without thinking. So, we need to understand. That's why sometimes it is referred that democracy is rule of fool. Why this is referred? Because of this. Because if in any country most of people are not literate, most of people are not able to understand the nature of the political leaders, then they are going to simply vote because of any reason. They are impressed and they are thinking they are going to get, and they vote. And because of this vote, someone who is not good for the country can be won the election and form the government. And this is how the complete essence of the democracy is failed. Is it clear, students? Hopefully you have understood these points. Well, if you have understood, then I should move to the next one. So fine, once again, it leads to political instability because of keep changing of leaders. It's all about political competition because there are multi-party system in our country. Leads to delay in decision because of discussions and all these things take place, and leads to the corruptions because the procedure of elections in which the leaders get chance to spend a lot of money and there is not any perfect mechanism to cross check it, and the ordinary people do not know what is good for even them. So fine, students, now we are moving to the arguments in the favor. What about to favor? There is a lot of things. There is a lot of things in the favor of democracy. In last video even we had discussed why this democracy is the one of the best form of the government in the present world. Because of its features, because of its merits. This is the most dominant form of government, most dominant. Right, dear students? Because most dominant, because everybody has chance and opportunity to grow. And as we discussed, peoples have very less chance. They get position on the ground of their birth, religion, caste, gender. Because as we had discussed, from 18th century, educated people start, demanding and believing that people's social status must be based on merit of individual, not the birth, religion, caste, or anything else. So that is the reason most of people like this form of governments. Fine, anyway, let us see according to our syllabus what is given in our chapter. Number 1, arguments in favor of democracy. Number 1 is more accountable form of government. What does this mean? Most accountable form of government means if government does anything, he is going to explain you the reason why the government has taken any decision. It's not like a dictatorship, it's not like a monarchy that they are not going to answer, they are not going to respond. In accountable form of government, the government is very sensitive and ready to fulfill the needs of people and always care of the interest of the people. At present we can see during the lockdown how the government is introduced a lot of welfare schemes for the poor and even all sections of the society. Right? So this is the favor of democracy. These arguments can be given. Next is the democratic government improves the quality of decision making. Here we have seen it leads to delay. Why take time? Because it has always proper procedure. There is a discussion in one house, then another house, right? Procedure of discussions. One head cannot take any decision. Then if you do like, means if you discuss anything with a number of heads, then there is chances are very less to irresponsible decisions. That is the reason the quality of decision making improves. Even it takes time, sometimes delay. But in terms of a good governance, we can say it's fine, we can compromise with the time. But at least whatever the decision comes, they are good and for the favor of people. Next point is provide methods to deal with differences. Provide methods to deal with differences. India is very diverse country. There is number of different cultures, different languages, different areas. We differentiate on many bases. If there is not a mechanism to accommodate with these differences, then it is very difficult to run the country, such vast country. So it provides methods. Democracy provides methods. How does it provide methods? Like it gives the reservation to the weaker section of the society. So they feel there is someone to think about them. There is a secular state declared. India is a secular state. So every religion or religious people can feel that there is someone who thinks about them. This is how it's provide mechanism. There is no any privilege given to a certain section without any good reason. If someone is given like in the form of reservation, then there is a enough valid reason for giving the reservation in all. Some other lecture we will cover this. Our next point is enhances the dignity of the citizens. Enhances the dignity of the citizens. How it enhances the dignity of citizens? Have you ever noticed? As in case of political equality we had seen, whether anyone is very highly educated or illiterate, the voting value of vote is same. What does this tell? This tells about the dignity of the citizen is the same. Whether the poorest one or least educated are having the same opportunity to grow. So that's why this is how the dignity of the citizens is ensured in democracy. Nobody feel if they are the poor or illiterate, say others have right to differentiate them. No, it's not. And the last one is that it corrects its own mistake. It corrects its own mistake. Because democracy has a opposition, media, there are social activists. These people have right to raise questions. Even they can criticize the incumbent government. This is how, if any wrong decision is taken, it cannot be hidden. It cannot be hidden. There are many people to care for this. And due to this, there is a lot of chance that in democracy, if any wrong decision is taken, it come into notice and the ruling governments can correct it for the betterment of the people. So, we have just learned these arguments against democracy, arguments in favor of democracy. Just last topic I will take for you, and I will end with this definition of the democracy. The most popular definition of the democracy is, it is for the people, of the people, and by the people. Let us try to understand what does this mean. With this we will end the video. Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln, he was the President of America. He quoted a definition, that is, democracy is form of democracy is government of the people by the people and for the people. Just let us understand the meaning of this definition. This is very beautiful definition. But generally, people do not understand the meaning of these definitions. They just remember. If you ask to any students, they will tell what the democracy means. This is the for of the people, by the people, and for the people. Let's we try to understand what does these three phrases mean. Of the people, first of all. This of the people means any country has a different kind of religious people, there are rich people, there are poor, there is male, female. And and these all peoples are the people of country. So this is the government of all these people. It's not the government of any particular religious people, any particular section of the societies. So his mean to say of the peoples means that it talks about representation. Representation of all sections, representation of all section of society, all section of society. And very well it is said that the parliament should be the epitome of the society. The perfect example of the society. If we see the parliament, there must be representative of all sections of the society. But unfortunately, sometimes we see there is very less representation of females in our parliament, and there are many other things. So this of the people means he talking about the representation of all the people in the government. Then next is the by the people. What does this by means? By the people. This by the people means it talks about elections. We had just read, if there is no free and fair elections, then we can't say it is democracy. So, in a democratic form of governments should get the power by the peoples through the elections. And in this through the election means if there is no adult franchise, only certain people have given the right to vote, or there is unfair elections, then how can we say this is the main by the people? By the way, in our country, there is adult people have a right to vote. Means we can say that the adult participate in elections. Before age of 18, there is no people going to vote. So this is by the people means election process. And the last one is for the people. For the people we can say it is good for the people. It is good, a government, good for the people. It is good for the people. Means whichever the government is formed after the election, that government must think for the well-being of the people, for good for the people. This is the meaning of this definitions. With this definition, I end my topic. Assignments will be uploaded in the ERP. Please download and submit. When the school will reopen, it will be assessed in the PT1 assessment. Thank you and have a nice day.